Welcome, guys, to the King of the Hill match number 4. I'm your host, Cruelty, and with me is none other than cncHD.
Hello guys, welcome and nice to see you here in this cast.
Exactly. Right, in this King of the Hill match number 4, we have Salami facing off against cnc4. Salami has managed to win the first match, which was on the previous match. You can watch all those videos on cncHD's channel if you want to watch those back. For now, we're gonna jump into the second match, and yeah, let's start off with our players. So in the top right, we have none other than Salami playing as the red Chimera this time.
Yeah, and at the bottom position we are looking at cnc4, and this looks like a USA headquarter, or is it Chimera?
Nope, it's USA. cnch4 is playing as USA.
As USA, I still need to get used
I
to it.
will just look at the surveyor, and that's easy to spot.
Yeah, the surveyor is a good hide.
Yep.
Okay, shall we start the game?
Yeah, let's go for it.
So 3, 2, 1, play.
All right.
So that's a huge map, by the way.
Yeah, this map is called Battle Site Zero. It was the only map in the VP beta 1.1. Now there are two others which I think are a lot better. This one is actually ridiculously large. We can actually see probably is going to see quite a bit of a macro play here on this map. So both players going for those nice resources, just ecoing a bit, and yeah, I think it will be very nice to see what they will come up late game wise.
Yeah, that's correct. And I personally don't like this map. It could be the fact that I played it so many times in the first beta, but actually, no, I don't think this is the reason. I think the reason is because it's so huge.
Yeah, exactly. It takes ages for anything to get across the map. In saying so, though, it seems cnc4 thinks it takes only a few seconds to get on this side of the map because he has already built a turret inside his base. Very defensive play here by him. He just wants to be safe against that early surveyor rush, which coincidentally is coming. You can see the drone from Salami traveling in the mid.
Yeah, and he's throwing down even a second MG nest.
Wow. So
that's defensive right there.
Yep, that's really defensive. But he also has double refinery going up and a barracks, which is normal, going for that first bank, which is close by.
Yeah, he also has the first marine in his bank, and on Salami's side, Salami already has 3 marines in his bank, and 4th and 5th one are coming.
Yes, exactly. We can see now Salami actually going for a lot of oil and skipping aluminum for now, which is somewhat... I don't know. It's interesting, yeah. With Chimera, of course, aluminum, you don't really need it early game, but if you do have it, you can build some outposts really fast. And those outposts, if you place them next to your refineries, hugely increase the effectiveness of your refineries and your collectors, which will make you gather a ton more resources very quickly, and will give you an edge over your opponent.
Yeah, what I like about the recon rush, by the way, or the drone rush there, like Salami is doing. I had this against the dev game, where we played against the developers. You just place one drone or recon team next to the bank, and it will clear out all the marines inside, without even getting picked off there.
Yeah, exactly.
That was pretty crazy. I hope they fix it.
Well, then just put a javelin soldier in.
Yeah, but I think this seems pretty broken if you have 6 marines inside a bank and just one recon or surveyor, if you want to call them, is just standing next to your bank and just...
Yeah, maybe marines should do a bit more damage against light vehicles such as drones and MPs and other stuff. Yeah, that would be really nice.
So we can see that cnc4 went for this power solar plant and going for the light vehicle bay. He's also placing down an LEM.
Yep. I'm not sure why he's facing it that way when the refinery is on the right and not towards the south.
Yeah. What's also interesting is that cnc4 placed down a refinery so far ahead from his, so far away from his base. I mean, It's so far away. That's like a huge distance.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a shame though, because if he had scouted it, he would have seen that there's an oil field just northeast of his already occupied oil field. So he could have just placed the second refinery right there.
Yeah, but he's placing refineries there, so he's going for a huge, massive macro build right there.
Yep.
On the other side, Salami has his aluminum field taken, and he can now go for some crazy stuff. He has the spare vehicle buyout, and he can go for some Pumas, I think.
Exactly. And we can see now Salami upgraded all of his refineries. You can see he's mining from 2 aluminum fields here. You can see 2 of those crushers, those fancy looking robots, I think. Yeah, those like robots. They're mining out the aluminum there. So we know he's upgraded the refineries, which doubles the speed at which the refinery gathers resources for you. So that's really a crucial upgrade to get if you're playing Chimera.
Yeah, that's really important for a Chimera player, so you can rush out those units very fast. What do you think, in your opinion, would be the good counter for USA? Can they do the same thing with the logistical center, or do you think Chimera is ahead with gathering resources?
And I think Chimera is ahead in the early game right now. I think if the US Army goes for the early logistics center, they only have access to 1 upgrade, which is the engine upgrade for the Hafses, which doubles their speed. It is really nice to get, but it's also pretty expensive, and the logistical center itself is also pretty expensive. So yeah, sure, you don't have to upgrade every individual collector like you have to do with Chimera for each individual refinery, but the cost to get it is actually quite high and might impair you in the long run if you need to have those units handy right away.
Yeah, so here in the first 6 minutes we can see that SimCity is going on, and both players just macroing up, but we can see that here at the bottom left corner our player cncH4 gathering up some striker MGs.
Yes. Really, I don't know. On this map, I guess maybe scouting with the Zephyr would be really nice to see what's going on. I mean, when you look at the game right now, he shouldn't have actually had to build those strikers. If he went for what we discussed earlier, gone from that logistical center and the upgrade, maybe an earlier DEFCON 2 to get those forward operation bases for those refineries all the way on the outskirts and those extra resource upgrades. I think it might be a better decision here, especially if he's not using the strikers he has right now.
Yeah, we can now see that Salami was going with some Pumas to the top bank to send 6 Marines inside that building. We can see that the bank is not taken, and Salami has free way to take that bank. And at the same time,
yep,
we can see that cncH4 taking this second bank as well.
Yeah, I'm quite disappointed that Salami actually didn't win for that second bank earlier on, but as I said it, he just unloaded 6 soldiers into it. So, my bad. We can see Salami now having captured his second refinery with those 6 soldiers, making great use of that Puma upgrade where you can load 4 soldiers in each Puma so you can drive them around really fast.
Yeah, we now can see that the drone is coming in from the bottom and will spot this refinery.
Yeah.
He's going to open fire on it and will get some
if he's
trucks.
lucky, he can get the trucker too. Yeah. Oh, will he get it? Will he get it?
Oh,
and it moves out of range. Oh, and he fires on the refinery. That could have been microed a little bit better from Salami, but I guess macro is on his mind right now. He's trying to get more and more resources out. We can see him taking another aluminum factory just a little south of his base with the upgrade, as well as 5 or no, maybe even 6 collectors. So
yeah,
he's really pushing it.
You can see that 7 striker MGs moving to the top, but once they are in the base of Salami, I think Salami will be prepared for this attack.
Exactly, exactly. We can see now, Salami actually doesn't have that much units, but he probably has the Collector upgrade, which adds a gun, an autocannon on the Collector, which will actually repel most light units. Not so much the Striker MJs, which are coming, but he has a ton of Collectors in his base, as you can see.
Yeah, he also finished the shield upgrade.
Yep.
On his HQ. I think this is equal to DEFCON 2, isn't it?
Yep, exactly. Getting that prison, so he's gonna make use of infantry and try and capture a lot of them. Having those prisoners grants you the extra bit of resources, as well as you can exchange them for rare earth if you need that.
We can see that Salami has occupied the bottom bank and killed all marines, and they are now laying around that bank, and Salami can grab those marines.
Yeah, you should definitely grab those soldiers. Will be a nice addition. But in the meantime, we have this fight in the north. We see the Striker MGSs coming in, but the Pumas already have their rocket upgrades.
Yeah, that's huge. Those
That is
Striker
really
MGs
huge.
will be wrecked.
Exactly. Now Slimy can just kite with these Pumas and wreck them. Now he knows he has enough, so he can just stand this ground and kill off the remaining strikers. And he even has some exo soldiers out, so that means he also has the shield protocol, sword protocol. Sorry. So
Yeah.
to make sense of that, he's basically a tier 3 already, DEFCON 1 equivalent. He has both the protocols enabled, and has now his full access to the full might of the Chimera army.
Yeah, which is pretty huge. I think we are also going to see some Terminators very soon, by the looks of it.
Exactly, and Salami actually managed to take out the refinery at the far south, so that expansion from CNC4 has been denied by these two Pumas, making great use of them. And yeah, just overall good gameplay, but we can see CNC4 now in macro mode, getting those 2 extra aluminum refineries in the middle on the plateau. And I would just really like to see a forward operation base here to just reduce the time it takes for those collectors to reach the base, because if we have a forward operation base, then the collectors can just transport the resources there instead of having to travel all the way back towards the main base.
Yeah, that's true. What I pointed out, what I find out is that if you play against a very hard AI, they are going to build the LEMs so that they can get closer to the refinery. They will build the LEM in their main base and then just build one after another till they get to the refinery. It's another way to make the way between the refinery and the LEM shorter.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the way the AI uses, but like you said, a forwarded operation base be the better choice here.
Yeah, well, there's some improvements, because when you're playing, especially late game USA, you're really struggling to place buildings, because you need a lot of building space created, because the US buildings are pretty large and they're pretty wonky with all the different sizes. So having those extra LEMs scattered around the base gives you that extra extra place or extra lots where you can build all those buildings. So it has upsides. I definitely advise just building quite a few LMs in every game almost.
Yeah. What I would like to ask you while SimCity is going on again, since I'm not a Chimera player, would you like to explain what the difference is between a research lab, a defensive center, and a science-tech lab?
Well, each building has its own different protocol. So the defensive center is obviously from the shield protocol. Makes sense, right? And it houses a lot of defensive upgrades. So when you think about the exo soldiers, their self-healing upgrades, it will be in the defensive center. Also, all the anti-air, which is also under the shield protocol, is in the defense center. So if you want to get the anti-air missiles on the Terminators, you have to research that from the defensive center. The research lab, however, is much more offensive, because when you unlock it, when you get the sword protocol. So the research lab will house more upgrades that tend toward an offensive nature, like getting the speed for the exo soldiers or getting the anti-vehicle rocket for the Terminator and other various upgrades.
That's pretty informative.
Yeah, and the synth lab is not really a research lab because you can't really research anything. It's the late game aluminum resource generation for the Chimera.
It's the same thing like an administrative center.
It's the same thing as the administration, except it generates aluminum. Exactly.
That
and
makes sense.
You need both protocols for those. So you need both shield and sword before you can unlock that.
That makes sense. So while we were talking, Salami went to the base of cnC4 and just paid him a visit with some exo soldiers.
Exactly. We see quite a bit of exo soldiers and some Panzers and some Pumas moving in. He took the bank, but he has a lot of strikers. But those exo soldiers in the bank will really make for a good defensive position for Salami here. He can really just assault this refinery with the cover from the cover of the bank, and cnC4 might be forced to give this one up.
Yeah, he's also sending back his force, which he was about to send to Salami's base, and now he has a huge army of strikers, and he also has a repair vehicle, which in my opinion is pretty strong. I hope they will nerf it just a bit because it repairs so fast.
Yep, and here we can see the exo soldiers. Oh, the exo soldiers fire on the move. It is so strong. You can see him going through that, and you know the MGSs are trying to get the tanks first because you know they think tanks are more dangerous, but instead these exo soldiers are way more dangerous at the moment, and you can see them just mopping up this entire force, leaving behind a massive junkyard of strikers.
Yeah, they can even shoot into the air, I saw.
Yep, even shoot into the air. There we go. Oh, careful, and he loses one Guardian there. Very close. We can now see some snipers from cnC4. This is the right choice for him, I think.
So snipers are the best way to counter those exo soldiers, right?
Yeah, exactly. Especially, I don't know if the USA snipers take them down in one shot, but I know the Chimera ones do. So the SAS snipers take down exo soldiers in one go. I think the Americans one should as well, but I'm not sure if they do.
Okay, but we will find out in a bit, I think.
Exactly. In the meantime, however, we see a massive expansion over on the north side from Salami. We can see him taking over the middle plateau with another aluminum factory, 2 aluminum factories. He might even go for the third one over there, as well as getting the rare earth, all the way in the west side of his plateau. So he's gonna get those rare earth elements and maybe get some high-tech units. We could see some burritos. Yes, I know it sounds funny, but that's the actual name. It's the long-range artillery for the Chimera. Or you might even see some super weapons.
Yeah, I think we are going to see some super weapons here in this game.
We can see, however, Salami not really on point with his macro, because we can see some of his refineries are not yet upgraded or have the right amount of harvesters. I know it's a lot of work to keep track of all of that, but it's really worth it if you just continue to monitor those resource stations.
Yeah, Salami is sitting on 14,000 oil and 4,000 aluminum. cnC4 on the other side is sitting on 0 cash and 3,000 aluminum.
Yeah. I'm seeing now cnC4 still bumping out these Guardians. Not sure if this is the right move though, because those exo soldiers do also shoot in the air, and they are so fast they can just catch up, and you can't really kite them, and they will just kill the Guardians. Exo soldiers right now are really strong.
They are. They got a bit nerfed. I think plus 150 aluminum.
Yep, exactly. They've increased the cost a bit.
Yeah, but they are still strong, and in the late game all the players have a lot of aluminum on their bank account, so it still not make much difference there.
Exactly. We see here it's trying to move in with his guardians, but there's so many Panzers
all
here.
Of them.
And losing 2 guardians there. That's a huge loss. And we can actually see a Rhino from Salami just showering the base, trying to get rid of some of these forward sandboxes slash defenses from cnC4. He really wants to be very efficient, very effective with his units, not sacrificing anything, but just rushing in. So well played by him.
Yeah, really well played. That's pretty good. But cnC4 also still doing a pretty good job with his macro there. Also, I liked the play with the striker MGs, but I think the time is needed to go for some Abrams or artillery or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I would have maybe loved to see attack to Defcon 1. Get some extra resources from those rare earth elements, as well as getting some Delta Force soldiers, because Delta Force soldiers are really nice. If you upgrade them with the LEW or Law, they have the rocket launcher, or yeah, I think it's a rocket launcher. But for some reason, this rocket is not countered by the CIWS capabilities of any tank. So all the Panzers and the Terminators, which have the gun that can shoot down incoming rockets, it somehow doesn't apply to the law from the Delta Force. So the Delta Force soldiers are great for taking out vehicles and other infantry units in the late game.
Yeah, but you know what I prefer more in the base of Mr. cnC4?
Yeah?
An armory.
He doesn't have an armory? Are you serious?
He doesn't have an armory. Or am I blind? I don't see an armory.
No, I don't see it either. That's a bit unfortunate, yeah.
I mean, he has so many striker MGs, but there is no Tusk upgrade.
Yeah. Without Tusk upgrade, I mean, guys, Tusk upgrade doubles the HP right now for the striker, which is huge for only 500 apiece. That is a huge upgrade to get, and essential in any time you play the US Army.
Yeah, that's correct. But he's still doing a pretty good job. He's now going into bunker mode.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening over here. I mean, Salami easily could have ended it by just moving his exos to the side, going around the base, killing all of the expansions. We can see cnC4 not paying attention to his aluminum refineries on the plateau. Of course, they got sniped while trying to get back to the base, so there aren't any yet.
Sorry to interrupt you. Please go into the base of Salami. We are now going to see some huge super weapon spam right there. We have 3 Omega Blitzers on the way.
I see 5 on the way. One already
5
filled.
Wow.
So that'll make for 6 Omega Blitzers. This is artillery spam on a new level, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why he's not going in. He just want to wipe out the complete base with just 1 second.
Yeah, and we can see here some forces. He's trying to move into the bank, but he has so many extra soldiers. He would just move back in, take it over, and no chance for cnC4 here with this large army, mostly consisting of those exos.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. And we can actually see cnC4 now just having way too much aluminum. I don't think he knows what to do with it. We can see all his stockpiles being full. None of his harvesters actually returning anything because all of it is full. He's actually spending a bit now by getting some more tow upgrades on his sandboxes and just making more and more of those sandboxes.
Yeah, I think what the case is here right now is that he's playing in a tournament and he's getting nervous. He wants to win this match, but he doesn't know how. And now he's getting nervous and don't know what to do, and searching for a solution to still win this game. But unfortunately, he cannot find one. At least that is what happened to me against Salami, and in the end I lost. But I think that's also the case here now for cnC4.
Yeah, exactly. I would like to see an extra outpost here on these 3 aluminum fields by Salami, but let's face it, he is far enough ahead to do whatever he wants. Even getting some snipers into position, not sure where they're going, but just more and more units streaming in from Salami.
Yeah, we can see that the first Omega Blitzer has 2 shots already. And
Yep.
The other Omega Blitzers are, getting ready to shoot.
Yeah, we can now see 4 of them in the base of Salami getting some extra. You can now see Salami actually built quite a bit of these synth maps. You can see them right here. Look at this when I zoom in. Oh, this gorgeous detail of this game, amazing. And those structures will just generate aluminum at a steady income.
That's nice.
Exactly.
Well,
right. More and more Omega Blitzer ammo being produced. Is he gonna fire with all 4 at the same time? Probably.
I think he wants to destroy the complete world with those Omega Blitzers, by the looks of it.
Yep.
Okay, so we can see that Salami also has a huge army in the back. Not only has he a huge army next to the bank, he also has a huge army in the back. So there's just no way Salami will lose this match.
No, probably not. No.
I think what cnC4 could do is building a forwarded base on the right side and try to build up his base there a bit and getting a sneaky attack out there, but I don't think it's going to help him.
Not sure something will. I don't know. I really think Salam is just toying with him now. I'm just, actually kind of waiting for this game to end. Maybe. I mean, it's pretty obvious what's gonna happen in the upcoming minutes. So it's. Yeah.
So a quick question for you. I read or heard by the developers in some interview that they said having multiple bases should be the best thinking in this game, the best thing to have. What do you think about this? Do you think one base is okay, or do you think 2 or 3 bases on one map should be the thing to do? Or what do you think?
I think a centralized base is much easier to macro. You have all your stuff in the right place. Also, if you get attacked in your main base, you only have one place to defend. The opponent doesn't have the option to attack you at multiple locations. Sure, he can attack you at multiple fronts at your main base, but that's a little easier to defend than when he has multiple units across different places. But when you look at it from the other side, I think it's much safer because late game you're not susceptible to super weapons, as you can see this game. Yeah. Also, your logistics are much better if you have multiple bases with refineries close by. I think those logistics that will help you greatly improve your overall resource generation and even allow you to build up forces at different locations, which you can then send out to do the exact same to your opponent, which is attack at multiple locations or from multiple directions. So in my honest opinion, I think multiple bases weighs out over just having one centralized base. But when you look at it from a player perspective, playing the game, it is really hard to keep track of all those bases and really keep up with the macro, and just you need some solid multitasking to really give that tactic some great effectivity.
Yeah, I think so too. Also, I think it was good that the developers removed the supply lines, the supply system with the forwarded bases. I think this was just too much for the players to deal with.
Exactly.
It was like playing Anno, playing SimCity, and
It really felt like playing Settlers. Really having to worry about where the physical resources actually were. Like if you had resources in one location, they would not be used if you wanted to build units or structures in the other location. So that was really tough, and it really annoyed people quite a bit playing the VIP beta. And I guess we really make you can notice that. So, and it worked because they changed it, and I think for me it's for the better.
Yeah, I like it. I really like it. What I also saw is that the Noodle Socks posted in the forum that you can use this supply line thing. It's still in this game a bit. You can use it to send your resources to your ally's base and give your ally your resources.
Exactly, exactly. This is new to me as well. I heard earlier today that if you have like an LEM with resources, you can have collectors. Select that as a pickup point, and then your allied HQ or outpost or LEMs as a drop-off point, and you'll actually send those resources towards your ally, which is a really nice feature. It's a bit more difficult than the usual. Oh, I open a window and I'll transfer this amount of funds to you. But it's really nice that it's an option in the game if you want it.
Yeah, it's also realistic. I mean, in the real war, you're not just going to press a button
Yeah,
and there you
exactly.
go. You have to send trucks to
Exactly.
the battlefield to deliver goodies.
And we can actually see now just cnC4 are doing some harassment, getting this refinery down. Will he get it before the exo soldiers get there? Oh, he sold
it's
it
sold in
instead.
time, and he's
Wow.
building another one right away.
That is some nice timing there from Salami. Great reaction there, using his army to catch it. And now cnC4 has a chance to push in and take his own bank back. But he doesn't opt to do that. Of course, there's still these exo soldiers which have now garrisoned back into the bank for some extra protection.
Yeah, and they destroyed this nice, beautiful building, which is now wrecked.
Exactly. Some more exo soldiers coming out. I'm really wondering where all these... Oh, there we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 5. Just 5. I count 6 artillery launches. 7 artillery launches.
Are you going to watch this out of the satellite view or normal view?
No, I'm gonna zoom in. I think I'm just we can see the missiles on satellite view, which is really nice. As you can see, they're not really missiles, but all right. Let's go into the game, and there we go. 1, 2, 3. Wow, this 4. These 3 explosions. This is amazing. Oh, and Abrams actually survived one shot. There's still so much more coming. Look at that stream of artilleries. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
So many nukes.
So many artillery shots from those Mega Blitzers. Yeah. That is crazy.
Wow.
Look at all those craters here. Wow. Looks like they just created a second moon.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. There's no way you're going to survive that attack.
Teenage wasteland.
Yeah, and even 2 more shots incoming, but they're going to just level that heavy vehicle base.
Yeah, I think they will just level it. Wow, that is a lot of